I've gone undercover in iRacing, disguised myself so no one will suspect a thing. The goal? Explore the wild world of lower splits and teach better racecraft. Ferrari fixed at Daytona, starting from the back. But up we go, and turn 1 is tricky, because in turn 1 you can go 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide if you're using the GTP line. So we're trying to find the gaps where we can place our cars. For example, in the next corner, we'll go in the inside. See, one guy just wrecked. And we're picking the inside line because we're finding the spots where we don't see cars. Now, this guy hit us because he's losing traction. It's quite difficult when you get from the outside and we're trying to put the power early. Going side by side around this corner. And once again, staying on the inside, just braking a tiny bit later, and this seals the move. Now, I'm looking ahead because next corner things can get messy as well. So I'm looking far ahead. I'm seeing this car that just lost traction and just had to do this evasion moves. And it's super important to look far ahead, especially when you have a lot of cars in front, because all it takes is one mistake from one car and it's over. So we lost a couple of time, like we lost more than 3 seconds because we had to avoid action, but it's still fine because we're alive. Now, setting up the bus stop, we don't have a pretty good exit. We had to slow down a little bit more. It's lap 1, cold tires, so it's not the end of the world. We still have slipstream from Rafael in front, and even though he tries to weave a bit, it's impossible around here to avoid this draft. So no matter what he does, I'm still gonna get the draft, and I will try to just brake later than him. And I want this to be like a lesson for you. Like, if you brake way too late in lap 1, you won't have the grip. So I go super wide, and he's able to take back the position. Fair play to him. Like, I outbrake myself. Another guy is rejoining, and we're trying to make the outside work. We're trying to take a better line, which worked for us, surprisingly. And now just following closely, thinking about the inside as well. See, sending into the inside. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we're in a lower split. Some of the drivers will brake earlier. So if I stay just on the outside line, it might not be the best line because I have to brake super early. So that's something you must consider, especially when you see a driver that is braking a bit earlier than you. Just use the inside line because you will get a bit of an advantage of the entry, and in some cases you can even make the exit work. But right now we're right behind Nicholas in front, and we want to set up a good bus stop chicane. Let's see what we do here. An off track on the exit, but a really good run. So now, once again, into the draft battle. Closing up quite quickly, moving to the outside. And now just a race to turn 1. Turn 1 is not that easy. Turn 1 is my biggest enemy in terms of overtakes around here. I will show you exactly why. Because, once again, I'm trying to brake late. This time, I have a better line, but I'm seeing him in the mirror, and I'm giving him more room that he needs. And this is a big lesson. If you give more space than the other need, you will lose the position. It's plain and simple. The margin of finding the right spot to place your car and finding the right amount of space to give to the competition is what you should be doing if you want to improve in racecraft. And this was a poor move from me in turn 1. You see, now I'm stuck behind him, and I could have easily overtaken him there. I had the speed advantage, but it is what it is. I'm showing him the inside, trying to make him force a mistake, which happens to a degree. I have a much better exit out of the corner. I'm really close at this point in time, and I'm thinking about trying something into the bus stop. I know it's not ideal, but I have such a good exit out of this corner that I should be in front before the braking. Like even right now, I'm in front of him. We're side by side. I'm gonna brake a bit later than him. We're going almost side by side, but then I just released the brakes more, and then he had to brake a tiny bit more. He's flashing his headlights behind me, so I'm guessing he found it not the best move, but in all fairness, we both gave plenty of room, and the move was on from the beginning. So while I would not especially recommend it in the bus stop, just because of the exit, I had to do it. Now I'm looking in front at these guys because they are gonna go side by side, maybe, and the crash happens. Crash happens, taking the inside very, very quickly. You don't have to to put a thought on it. You see a crash on the outside, just go on the other part. But yeah, those were 3 free places, and right now we're just gonna push to catch to the guys in front. We have like a 3-second gap to them. So let's fast forward a tiny bit. So here we are after a couple of laps, and we have this 4 cars battle. This will be like the battle until the end of the race, because we can't catch up to, you know, P4, P3. They are just far, far ahead. But this will be an interesting battle, because, you know, there's not so easy to overtake around here. It's not that straightforward, so you have to put some pressure in order to, you know, to force some mistakes, or in general you have to get better at turn 1 in my case, to be honest. But right now, just staying close. I will show up in his mirrors if I'm gonna be closer than this, just to try to force a mistake. But right now, just setting a good exit. The exit is really, really important out of here. And we don't have the best exit, but we have a good enough exit. However, because Kai in front has the draft from the other cars, you see, I'm not gaining as much. In fact, it looks like we're gaining almost the same, and now we're gonna be all 4 of us will be really close in turn 1, because look how much we're gaining in the draft. So I'm trying to take the outside. I'm trying to just leave enough space. I'm braking a bit later, and they touch, and I have to touch Kyle. I gave him the position here because it wasn't fair. I pushed him right there, but you know, it was a chain of events. So some places got switched around here, and we're on the back of Kyle now. And once again, we're trying to mostly make moves that won't push or put others into a position of, you know, just punting to pass. We're trying to make a pass that is it's clean enough. But with these heavy cars, it is not so easy. So once again, around here, the exit is super important, because right now I'm 0.2 seconds behind him, and even though he has the slip, I will be quite close into the bus stop. So because I'm this close, I will try to shake him up a little bit. So at this point in time, showing in the mirrors, making him think that I will go side by side, then going back to the racing line and setting up the chicane, just like that. And he goes wide, you see. And I have a moment as well. But that move there is really working. Like, if you show up in the mirrors of other drivers just before the braking, and then you get back immediately on the racing line so you don't compromise your line, it's very likely that he won't be taking that corner like he normally does. Like, he will have a bit of pressure. And right now, we lost a bit of time because of that moment. But since those two drivers are going side by side, it won't take us too much time to catch up, and we have 2 more laps to make this work. So obviously we're trying to gain these 2 places in front of us, and we're trying to get them cleanly. Now, around these corners right here, there's not much to do. Even if you go side by side around here, the likelihood of making the move stick it's quite thin. You really need to have like a traction advantage. You really need to force the mistakes. So I'm just trying to keep close. I'm trying to be there on oval part to try to just follow through and put some pressure on. And to avoid mistakes, obviously. Like, we have a small mistake around here. We lost a tiny bit of time. Because every time that blue LED is flashing, it means the traction control is kicking in. And that's generally not good. You really want to avoid using these assists, because those assists will just slow you down most of the time. So now, setting up the bus stop, making sure we have a good entry, cutting a lot there, putting the power down, avoiding the off-track. It was very close to the off-track limit around there. And we go to turn 1 once again. And I hope this will be like a small lesson for you in turn 1, because it didn't work really well for me. The reason why it didn't work, because I was leaving too much space. So this is the last lap. So let's see it. Let's see what we can do around here. Taking the outside once again, braking late, but I see him in the mirror, and when I see him, and you don't have space here for 2 cars, so I just have to lift, you see. This is a cautious approach, but we have such a better exit out of this corner, and we're side by side heading into the next one. Side by side still, we have a slight advantage, and we seal the move. He backs it off because I was ahead. I think this was fair play for him too. I left him the space after turn 1 because he was a tiny bit ahead and there wasn't space for both of us. And he gave me the space now because, you know, I was ahead of him. And now we're trying to get to, you know, to P4. This was a wild race from P20, right now P5. We had some luck, but we also, you know, took the best out of our opportunities. And now setting up the bus stop, showing in the mirrors, trying to shake him up a little bit, moving to the braking zone. And we're a bit late with the throttle input. We thought he would slow down more, so I didn't want it to just slam into him. But he has a good run, I have a good run too. And this will be just a race to the checker flag. 0.1 behind. I'm gonna go on the right side and make this a side-by-side battle. Checker flag in front. Can we do it? No, we couldn't. He was like 0-0-1 ahead. But fair play to him and fair play to the other driver, because, you know, I want to end up on this. If you treat others respectfully, they will race. Most likely they will race you respectfully as well. So, you know, that guy in the red livery, in the red Ferrari, gave me the space. Probably because I gave him the space too. So, yeah. Big props to Rafael for racing cleanly, and all the other guys in the split. I hope I didn't cause much trouble this week, because I had a couple of bad races before this one. And, you know, if you want to see more of this, if you like this style, if you have some ideas for something that can improve, just let me know in the comments. You are a great audience. I love making videos for you, and I love to make the content better for you. Till next one, bye-bye.